Dear viewers, welcome to yet another edition of Your Life, Your Money. When I scan through, when I hear people out, people think financial planning is all about getting higher rate of return. Is it the truth? It's not the truth. Financial planning has more meaning than that. Financial planning has more things to take into account. When you focus your planning on only return, make no mistake, you tend to get lower return, or you tend to do more mistakes, or you tend to expose yourself to higher level of risk. If this is not the truth, the chasing of return, what is the right thing you should do? In this episode, I am going to talk to you about 5 pillars on which you have to base your financial planning. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, your financial guide for a happy living.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Now let's look at point by point the pillars on which you have to construct your financial homes. Call it financial planning, call it a process, give it the name you like. But the basis of building wealth or building your family finances should be based on these 5 pillars. Let's look at all of them one by one. Pillar number 1, risk profiling. If you start investing, you should first understand your risk profile, or you have to go through a risk profiling exercise. Risk profiling has 2 aspects to it. One, the monetary aspect. Second, the psychological aspect. What is this monetary aspect of risk profiling? If you are a person who is working on very tight budget, if you think even a little bit of volatility in the asset prices creates an havoc in your life, then you do not have the required risk profiling to take a higher risk. You can say you are a conservative investor, you can say I have zero risk tolerance level, or you have a minimalistic risk tolerance level. The way you have to handle finances is different from people who have high risk tolerance. The risk tolerance in case of people who have higher amounts of money at their disposal is much higher. So look at what kind of a budget you have. Will it impact if the asset prices go up and down a little bit here and there? And you have to choose appropriate product. The other aspect of risk profiling is psychological aspect. You could be a person who could be having lots of money. I have clients, I have seen in the lives of so many clients, they are quite rich, they are having lots of money, but 100% of their money they'll keep it in the bank fixed deposit. Why do they do it? Because they cannot withstand the volatility at a mental level. If they see their valuations coming down a little bit, they become very jittery, they try to become very knee-jerk in the reaction, they get out of those products and they can book losses. So psychological aspect is also equally important. Psychological aspects come because of your life experiences, what has been your childhood, what experiences you have gone through your parents. All these things will decide can you take a risk or not. Unless you understand yourself well, or unless your financial planner understands your mental makeup, any planning that you may do can go wrong. Understand your psychological aspect, understand your monetary tolerance level, and that gives you what is the risk profile you fall into. For ease of understanding, we can just say people have 3 categories of risk profiling, even though in between there are categories that get created. A low risk profile, moderate risk profile, and a high risk profile. Either your financial planner has to do this exercise or do it yourself if you are an investor. What is your risk tolerance, and categorize yourself in that particular bracket and adopt a strategy that suits it. The second pillar on which you have to construct your financial home is identifying for what purpose you are doing the investment. You don't do an investment because that investment gives you a particular rate of return. That's secondary. The purpose becomes very important. Let me give you an analogy here. Do you go to a bus stand without knowing where you are going to go? Or do you go to a railway station without knowing which train you are going to catch? The destination becomes important. So is the case even in case of investment. You should know your purpose. The purpose dictates what kind of an instrument you can choose to achieve that particular goal. Again, let me explain here. If you are building emergency funds, The emergency funds, the nature is that if the emergency were to play up in your life, you need that money in no matter of time, which means to say the product that you choose should be liquid at all times. Likewise, the product should also have low volatility. You can't put money into a land parcel and say this is my emergency fund. Likewise, if you are investing money for your retirement purpose, then that could be a long-term story. The type of products you choose for that could be a different one. So identify the purpose. When you identify the purpose, you know where you can invest, you know where you should not invest, and you will know your boundaries on that. The third pillar of financial planning is asset allocation. One of the most important aspects of financial planning is asset allocation. What is asset allocation? Asset allocation is spreading your investment into different asset classes. It could be equity, it could be real estate, it could be cash, it could be bonds, it could be any other instruments of debt. How do you divide your surplus available cash under different assets? Why should you do asset allocation? The reason why you have to do asset allocation is, if you check through the history, all assets will not perform simultaneously. If the interest rates are low, your FDs may not give you anything, but the equities may be doing very well. During the inflationary periods, the hard assets could be doing very well. There are periods of time gold will not do anything for you. So there are different asset classes. They don't perform simultaneously. So it is very essential for you to blend your savings into different asset classes so that you will get an optimal rate of return, or you will not be unnecessarily exposed to underperformance, overperformance, and that kind of stuff. So asset allocation is the cornerstone of financial planning. The fourth pillar of financial planning is the strategy that you adopt. The strategy here becomes very important. Strategy is derived based on your risk profiling, based on the resources that you have, based on the time that you have to design a particular strategy. What is strategy? Strategy is what kind of an instrument I will choose. For example, broadly speaking, we can say strategy should be based on one of the two or a blend of the two. A fixed income strategy or a capital appreciation strategy. A fixed income strategy creates a regular stream of income for you. When you are adopting a fixed income strategy, you do not look at parameters like it should beat inflation and kind of a thing. When you look at fixed income strategy, what you look for is the tax efficiency and how safe the instruments are. The institution will be able to give you that cash flow without hindrance. Will it go in for a default? These are the metrics you look at when you develop a fixed income strategy. On the other hand, the capital appreciation strategy is long-term in nature. You have no control on it. You can choose an instrument, but there is no guarantee that it will go through the capital appreciation strategy. When you adopt a capital appreciation strategy, it calls for prolonged period of time for it to work very well. People think by putting money in the stock market, in the mutual funds, and year after year they get the return. That's not true. There are periods in history where I can show markets have not done anything for decades together. It's just not the Western market or the Japanese market. Even in case of Indian stock markets, I can show periods where markets have not done anything for 10 long years. Even in the recent past, markets have not done anything for 5 long years. Such periods can be seen where it looks lackluster to invest in the stock market. So when you are designing a strategy, first categorization to do is it fixed income I am looking at, or is it capital appreciation? Fixed income is under your control. Capital appreciation is not under your control. There are circumstances wherein which you have to blend the two strategies. You may have to have some portion in the fixed income, you may have to have some portion in the capital appreciation. Likewise, your stage of life will also dictate what strategy you adopt. If you are an youngster and if you are planning for retirement, which is 20, 30, 35 years away from you, then capital appreciation is the right strategy for you to follow, because you have ample amount of time that is there. If you are a 45 years old person, then you are staring at retirement in next 15 years. You are no more young, you are not old. The amount of time that you have at your disposal is shorter. Probably a blended strategy of fixed income and capital appreciation works very well. If you are a person who is 1-2 years into retirement or you are just retired, even there are some blending of capital appreciation and the fixed income strategies have to be resorted to. So it's an individual situation. Either you should know what's happening in your life or you should take the help of the experts in this field to design proper strategies for you. Only when you get a proper strategy in life, then your investments will work for you. Dear viewers, I would like to hear from you. You might be investing from a long time. What have you done in your life? How have you built your finances? Have you built these finances based on the pillars that I am talking about? What strategy you have adopted? Have you done your risk profiling? I would like to hear from you. Based on your inputs, my future videos can be built. Please leave your comment in the comment section below. Dear viewers, are you looking for professional services to build finances based on the pillars that I have discussed with you? If you have an intention to get expert opinions, a professional service, you can make best use of services offered by a team of experts from NRI Money Clinic. Our number is shown here on the screen. Through a WhatsApp message from any corner of the world, you can reach to us. We understand retirement very well. We understand child education funding very well. We understand capital appreciation, fixed income, all kinds of strategies we do understand. We understand business in India. We understand business outside of India. You can make best use of service. If you are looking out for service providers in this field, don't make delay. Send that WhatsApp message now and we are ready to serve you. The fifth pillar on which you have to build your finances is compartmentalization of your investment. Not many people speak about it. This has a lot to do with the psychological aspects. See, when you build a house, you compartmentalize your house. You build a kitchen separate, you have a bedroom separate, you have a living area separate, you have a staircase, everything is compartmentalized. Your finances also have to be compartmentalized. If you do not create compartments in your finance, you can't say that I have certain amount of money, I'll put everything into the mutual fund. Or you can't say that I'll put all my money into real estate. You can't say that I'll put all the money into the fixed deposit. When you save and grow money or save and invest money, it should be properly compartmentalized. It should be identified with its purpose. If you are maintaining funds for the sake of maintaining an emergency fund, then keep that in a bank or an instrument which fits that particular category. Identify it. If you have built funds for the sake of retirement, then that should be categorized and that should be kept separate. It could be an NPS, it could be a PPF account, it could be a mutual fund portfolio, whatever it is, but it should be compartmentalized, identified, and you should not touch that fund till the day on which it is required. That is the day of your retirement. If it is for your children's education, adopt a proper strategy, create a separate vehicle for this and identify it. If you do not compartmentalize your investment, the problem that you will face are many. You will not know for what purpose you have kept the money. Next time, suddenly there is a discussion which goes on in your family, oh, we need to travel somewhere. You may dip into the general pool of funds, which means to say, probably that money was supposed to go for your retirement and you consumed that money today. You would have kept that money for funding your children's education and that is consumed today. When you compartmentalize, you know specifically that instrument is for that particular purpose and you cannot touch that money and you should use that money only when that event happens. Till such time, you cannot touch that particular amount of money. Compartmentalization is very important. It looks very simple, but most people do not do. As a result, their financial plans can badly fail. It is very simple to compartmentalize. It is extremely simple. Not many people know about it. Not many people work in that particular fashion. This simple step, if you take, then it becomes easier for you to lead a good financial life. Dear viewers, hope the video that I have done today helped you to understand 5 strong pillars on which you have to build your finances. If it did help you, if it did give you a direction for you to pursue further on this line, please do like this video. If you are a person who is watching my channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for the channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another episode of Your Life, Your Money next Friday. Till then, stay safe.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.